Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hello, Minecraft. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine, man. Yeah. Nice. We're gonna finish. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, gotta focus on that stuff. Gotcha. But anyways, welcome everyone to Sea Monster Live number 67. So yeah. Alright, so for today's stream, we are pretty much it's gonna be just kind of a general discussion about how quite frankly about this about certain Lorenzo and how he kind of just sort of took the Transformer franchise in a direction that's kind of we'll just say a bit uncouth. Let's just say. Yeah, getting a lot of yeah, basically bit, there was definitely been quite a bit of coverage involving him. Um, and a lot of it kind of spurred thanks to like this documentary, Icons Unearthed from like Apple TV Plus. So there's that. Hmm. Hmm. And just kind of waiting for some people to hop on, show up, pretty much, just to listen. Yeah, this isn't really going to be like a stream covering any like videos, really, or even or like one specific movie. Although there'll be like a couple highlights of some movies, but not really. It's for the most part, it's just kind of yeah. Yeah. Oh, do not disturb me, please. Mhm. Yeah. Hey, Jack, I kind of saw a little bit of that Minecraft, but yeah, Godzilla Quadrics. God, that was just yeah. That what else can we say? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, needless to say, I guess we'll just kind of like get right into it while people are waiting for people to come in. For those who don't know, Lorenzo di Bonaventura is a producer of it was a producer of the well, probably still is the producer of the Transformers and GI Joe franchises. Um, at least like for a large portion of those film franchises, like tenure, pretty much. Um, and and by the way, folks, he's also a producer for Madam Web. Just thought you all should know that. Though I'm not entirely sure like how much of a hand he had into how that film turned out. Really, if anything, I mainly just sort of like heard that was like just kind of just more of a they just let the filmmaker just do whatever they wanted with that. Apparently, that's what they got, which is hilarious to think about. But yeah, yes, the film that destroyed Chris Stuckman's credibility. Yeah, very much. Lorenzo had a lot of hands and a lot of had his hands in a lot of pots, essentially, for the for essentially the decimation of many things. Apparently, hmm. Yeah, yeah, so and yeah, like he was pretty much involved. Like we're mainly just sort of like going over how he was essentially the Unicron of the Transformers film franchise, essentially, where he just sort of devoured it eventually. Um, and then just kind of just kind of screwed it over, and he still wants to do a goddamn GI Joe Transformers crossover. Like honestly, dude, honestly, we're it's just like after what he's done with the movie with like all the movies like after Michael Bay stopped directing them, like why does he think he deserves it? Like, even though like he like yeah, I mean we'll get to that in a bit. We'll get there. Yeah. Apparently, according to let me see, actually there's a source here that's pretty interesting. Before we get into that, it is all right. Now keep in mind it's on the TF the Transformers World 2005 thread thing, so I don't know how reliable this is. Yeah, yeah, there's like a thread that says that apparently Lorenzo pretty much has an unreliable history. All right, let's see. All right, well, let me go with this. This user, this user named we get those like used toilet paper. This is like a thread back in around the time when Rise of the Beast came out. So there is that. Okay, so all right, so this sort of like little comment sort of reads, and I quote: I've heard that Lorenzo has an unreliable history and has said a ton of shit, but I only really know of his declarations that Rise of the Beast is a prequel. I want to know about all the stuff he said and why he has the reputation that he has today. Edit. I mean, like specific things. I've heard that he said Quintessa used to be human, which is obviously false. There was a similar reboot versus prequel slash sequel situation with some of the G.I. Joe movies that he was wrong about. Stuff like that. Yeah, like yeah, I mean, like I'm wondering, like, did he also like say? I mean, like this is kind of mainly about his involvement with the Transformers franchise because that's like the bigger thing between that and GI Joe. But I am just like wondering if he was trying to claim that that Snake Eyes movie from 2021 was supposed like he was trying to claim that that one was also like a prequel to the other GI Joe movies, that came before it. Which, if that's the case, like holy shit, like I mean, let me just put it this way: like Snake Eyes, I kind of blank out like good chunks of it, but I know for a fact. Yeah, but let me just say, I like what I do remember from that Snake Eyes movie. I know for a fact would not even remotely be able to line up with what Rise of Cobra established to be the case, especially in terms of the relations between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Like it, their backstory pretty much. So yeah, that's just ridiculous. Um, all right, and this just kind of go. There's like a thread that like some other people like saying. For starters, Lorenzo said that the Dinobots would have a larger role in the last night. If I'm not mistaken, the creators we saw in Age of Extinction would be explored finally. Hmm. Yeah, everyone forgot about the Snake Eyes movie, pretty much. Yeah, like that's because that movie bombed hard. There's one comment that says like, if that jackass said the sky is blue, I'd go outside to check. Oh yeah, yeah. Like apparently there was some. Yeah, but I mean, I guess we'll probably. I guess that's like a good place to start essentially as far as that goes. So, for what I recall, like I think it is also in the Icons Unearthed thing where it was pretty much established that Travis Knight actually, where Travis Knight was kind of mainly focused on telling the sort of story, about Charlie and Bumblebee, like sort of like the heartfelt human and robot sort of friendship type of thing going on, like coming of age type of story. Like he was mainly focused on that, but Lorenzo just like said like we need more action, and so apparently the Cybertron sequence at the beginning of the movie, which fans have often cited to be like, oh my god, this is like the greatest thing ever, the greatest thing Transformers like in ever in film history. Apparently, that was Lorenzo's idea because he felt it needed more action. Which that also just kind of begs the question, like, so now what is it? Now, is the whole thing with Blitzwing showing up? Was that also Lorenzo's idea? Because when you think about, because when you like look at it in that scene, like before Blitzwing like this, launches like the missiles at Bumblebee and the Sector 7 guys, like it has like the Decepticon logo that's Bayverse like, pretty much, as opposed to like a more general design. Like I'm wondering like if Lorenzo had something to do with that and if Lorenzo had something to do with that scene, pretty much. Well, I mean, hmm, I am just kind of like wondering if if perhaps the whole thing with that Agent Burns, John Cena's character, like if him and his guys, like maybe like they weren't initially supposed to be Sector 7, or like there was supposed to be something else. Um, but then like Lorenzo came and said like, no, we need to have this connect to the other Bayverse films, or I don't know what the deal is with that. Um, yeah, like I can't, like I kind of need to, like I don't know if that was his idea or not. But regardless, like like there's definitely the thing is like when Travis Knight was sort of brought in as the director, it wasn't Lorenzo that brought him in. Like Michael Bay pretty much gave Knight his blessing of just being like, "Hey man, do what you want," which I think is mainly which it could be chalked up to be Michael Bay just saying like, hey, "Look, man, I kind of wanted to stop making these movies after the third one. So I mean, like, if you want to make this your own thing, maybe have it be a completely separate from my movies. Go right ahead." Um, so, anyways, we got someone coming out here. We got Zahoshi.
Yo, what's up? How are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just kind of going over some things.
So we're discussing about Lorenzo himself,
Yes, yes, and how he kind of fucked up the Transformers franchise. Let's just say, um,
and by that you mean the movies.
yeah, the movies.
So where do you want to start with?
Well, I was kind of like talking a little bit about Bumblebee, pretty much.
Okay.
Although I think Bumblebee is probably like I think Bumblebee is like the least effect. Probably seems like as far as like the movies after the Bayverse, like it was like the least affected by Lorenzo's tisms, essentially. I do think I do think Bumblebee probably kind of like it seemed like Bumblebee was always sort of destined to not be like a smashing box office hit. Although I do think like if they were to have it be the start of a rebooted series, despite Lorenzo's insistence of it still being a prequel to Bayverse.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I want to ask. Was it Lorenzo the one who constantly won't shut up about the fact that Rise of the Beast is connected to the Bayverse?
yeah, that's him. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Don't you worry. Like I'm saving us up for that.
Okay then.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think Bumblebee, like not doing like the best financially speaking. That was always kind of meant to be the case as like a side effect of how of just kind of like the downward trajectory that the Transformers films kind of had. As a result of just going off of like how the Last Night did, essentially. Which like if that movie like resulted in the Bayverse like stuff discontinuing, then yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you considering that. So last night in general, I don't really consider a movie. I just consider it a clip show with a plot, if you can even consider it one.
Yeah, with like a bit of a commercial for like movies that in the middle of like movie a whole bunch of movies that are never gonna come out, that are never gonna exist.
I mean, that movie basically straight up ripped off Star Wars, so we're not going all, with that.
Well, I mean, it's like kind of more. If anything, I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. I don't know if I would call it a rip off of Star Wars. I think it's like, well, I mean, okay, this whole thing with squeaks, granted. I
And
will do.
the fire jets, with the drones.
Oh yeah, right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's kind of like I mean, those are just like two like sort of like it's not like wholesale taking from Star Wars like plot and characters and all that. It's just like some of those like
I mean,
elements there.
are we gonna forget about Cogman being a ripoff of, that other character?
Oh well, I mean, like Crosshairs like referred to him as a C-3PO ripoff. Although, like, I think it's just kind of more of like there's like some similar design parts, but Cogman couldn't possibly be any different from C-3PO.
Yeah, CPO is a gentleman, Cogman is a psychopath.
But yeah, yeah, I do think Bumblebee kind of seemed like it probably like if it was gonna be like if the movie would turn out to have been like a financial loss, like it would have been like sort of like a loss leader or something. Like in terms of like sort of like one where be like, okay, all right, well, as long as we pretty much have this movie come out in a way where we get like some trust back in like in some audiences or or the Transformers fans or anything like that, then we can pretty much go forward with something else that would pretty much continue. That would sort of like perpetuate that trust, essentially. Which then brings us to Rise of the Beast. All right, well, now let's kind of get into that.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me, like, I know that people often cite like Lorenzo di Bonaventura as being like the reason why Transformers One pretty much failed, financially speaking, despite it being the best Transformers movie ever made. And I would pretty much say it's less to do with the poor marketing, though the poor marketing is a factor in that as well. The main factor is mainly I would say, if anything, I would argue that Rise of the Beast was the reason why Transformers One failed, financially.
Okay, then.
Because Rise of the Beast is where Di Bonaventura's sort of worst tendencies as a producer really came into play when it comes to Transformers movies. Because as you mentioned, this was sort of like the film where he kept claiming that it's a prequel to the Bayverse, to the other Michael Bay movies, even though just because it's set in the 90s, even though there's so many incongruencies that just cannot possibly coexist with the Bayverse. I mean, Bumblebee Bumblebee already has too many incongruencies to make it to where it would be for it to be a prequel to the Bayverse, just because the fact that Optimus arrived on Earth in the 80s, even though the Bayverse kind of had it seem like they pretty much they got to Earth for the first time in 07. But Rise of the Beast is where everything really goes to shit.
To be fair, Rise of the Beast might as well be a bootleg version of the Bayformers, considering how many similarities it has with it.
Yeah, it's basically. Yeah, it's like honestly, I would even go as far as to say it's kind of like it's like Temu Bayformer films, pretty much. And I don't even think it's because it's Stephen Cable Jr.'s fault, really. Like he was trying, essentially. If you notice, there was even I think there was a press junket or Q&A going on where someone even asked if Rise of the Beast is part of a rebooted timeline or if it's still a prequel. And Stephen Cable Jr. tried to say that it was part of a reboot timeline, but Di Bonaventura cut him off and said it's set in 1994, so it's set before the Michael Bay movies. It's just it's you're a liar. You're just lying. Or you've never seen the movie. You've never seen or even better, you've never seen the Michael Bay movies or even this film. Because there's no way you could say that with a straight face.
Considering how much the Michael Bay movies loves to contradict themselves with the timeline and how it constantly retcons everything, I don't see them saying that.
Well, no. Here's the thing: Rise of the Beast, honest to God, cannot coexist as an installment in the Bayverse. It is impossible because if we were, then we would just have to ask how could Unicron be a separate entity from Earth and then be an entity of Earth and be the same as Earth at the same time? How could the G.I. Joe exist in the Bayverse when by all accounts they should have there would have been so many instances in the Bayverse where if they did existed they would have been involved. I mean, the Battle of Chicago, for God's sake, they just there so many instances.
Unicron just so happens to find a huge button that said become part of Earth's core, and he managed to do it, while at the same time rewriting the reality along with it.
Yeah, and not to mention, he pretty much was there was even talks about a Beast Wars movie coming up, but apparently Lorenzo was you're just going, I don't know about that. And so I don't know if we want to do a Beast Wars movie, but fans want to do want a Beast Wars movie, so we're just gonna like put Beast Wars characters in Rise of the Beast,
And
and
not
that's
even
just
including the Predacons with it.
well, yeah. I mean, like, let's be frank here. Like, the movie's already a mess as it is. Like, just when you get right down to it.
All I will say is thank God Dinobot was in the movie. And no, I'm not talking about Grimlock, I'm talking about
No, I
the
get you.
Dinobot.
Yeah, no, I know who you're referring to. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a thing. Like, there's like they like trust me, they would have been able to fuck him up or the Predacons if they wanted to. Although you like funny thing enough, Hasbro like refers to like the Scorponok creatures in Resident Beast as Predacons, even though they should be labeled as Terracons because they're in league with Scourge and Unicron. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but here we are.
Question: wasn't Scorponok like its own separate character from the Beast Wars to this movie?
Yes, like well, Scorponok is kind of a like well, I mean, like in G1, like Scorponok was like a really giant, was like a big Decepticon thing, pretty much. In G1, and then and while in the Bayverse, he's basically he was Blackout's minion. Like he was a Decepticon. Like he's
Oh
like
yeah.
he's the big scorpion rope Decepticon that chases after Lennox and his team throughout the Qatar.
Okay then.
Yeah. Um. And so yeah, like yeah, there was like a lot of like yeah, just essentially him and Capel Jr. like vying for control over like Rise of the Beast, essentially. Like Bonaventura just like giving out notes like apparently every day, to be like, we need to do this and we need to do this. And where to the point where like the people making the movie, they weren't even sure about how this thing was gonna turn out. Like it sounds like it honestly just quite frankly, it sounds like it's kind of like indicative of like how movies are sort of made today, where it's just like there's no or it at least like in the MC, like when you consider it as far as like it may as well just been like an MCU movie, like what we're here, what I've heard about some of this stuff going on about like how Bonaventura just constantly just like where the movie just keeps like getting reshaped as they go along. It it sounds not too dissimilar to how MCU movies like the Marvels or Quantum Mania or Multiverse of Madness are kind of made these days.
Oh yeah, the fact that they change script constantly, or how some of the actors don't have the time for it to show up.
Yeah, like
Thank God the Sonic movies exist.
yeah. Let's see what. Let me see what I can find here. Just like I think there's like a. Trying to see if
Also,
there's
one more thing I had to tell you. I'll be leaving in a couple of minutes if that's okay for you.
that's all right. Yeah, that's fine. Cool to have you on here as always. Let me see. Okay, nope. That's not it.
Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to ask you. What are your thoughts on Scourge as like the main antagonist?
Uh, upon like a recent rewatch of Rise of the Beast, I yeah, I just kind of grown to not really like him that much as a villain. I'll be honest.
Wow, I'm saying this because I used to really love Scourge as how he handled Optimus, how he showed his introduction scene, and especially his voice. And yeah, I get what you're talking about, considering he can be pretty one-dimensional, if I'm being honest.
He's extreme. He's like extremely. Yeah, he's like extremely generic and like really one note. And honestly, Peter Dinklage like sounded like he was like he was just bored of being there at times. Like I like no joke. Like some of the delivery of his lines, like it couldn't be any more wooden. Like Master, the reinforcements. Like that's That's just really bad. Lorenzo don't crash a Ventura. Oh, here we go. We got Mr. Lau.
What up?
Hi guys.
Hey,
Can you hear me fine, by the way?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Dude, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
So, I have just like gotten some free time. I just wanted to know, so have you like started watching like the video yet or anything? Or
This isn't actually like coverage on a video. It's just kind of like a discussion about the topic, really, in general.
oh, okay, okay.
How about
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of went over a little bit about Bumblebee, pretty much, but yeah, but we're pretty much talking about Rise of the Beast.
And then we discussed about how Scourge is a garbage antagonist.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, it doesn't really have
Uh,
much to do with Di
I,
Bonaventura
I
per
don't know
se.
if it's garbage, but he's still like lame. That movie was just like lame.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's there, like it's trying at least. It just never gets to the character work of Bumblebee, and it never gets to the action of Michael Bay either. So
And not to mention the
it's
fact that they didn't even bother to, bring back the Industrial Life magic for the CGI effects.
yeah, and the fact that that CG company like that did work on the movie pretty much went under, anyways. And I think it was probably because of Rise of the Beast.
Wasn't that the same production company that made the CGI effects for KOTM?
I'm not sure actually. Good question. CG company for. Oh, did you just enter twice, Lau? Uh-oh.
basically what happened. Can you hear me? Eh, Dude,
Yeah,
I'm just going to multiply. Wait, am I echoing or something?
no,
Now
you're
that
not.
No,
there's
we just have the two versions of you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now it's just one. I don't know why it's doing that. It did it in Sims Stream 2 about Godzilla 3D the other day. It's like if I just leave the browser for too long, it just tests this for some reason.
Okay. All right. So Rise of the Beast, like the primary CGI and VFX for Rise of the Beast was MPC, Moving Picture Company, and Weta FX. Although people
Mhm.
typically usually cite MPC, like that's the company that went under. Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think that the CGI was that bad, but yeah, no, it is like a downgrade from like
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, the compositing, especially for like when the robots are like standing in like the woods, it looks real. It looks really bad. Like there's just like you could just tell that they're not there. Like it just.
Oh, really? Well, maybe it's because I haven't watched it in a long time. Or maybe it's because also when I went in, I had like such low expectations that, like I didn't care. And then my memories just, don't emphasize
Yeah.
the bad CG.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to be leaving now. Thank you guys for having me on. And before I go, have you guys seen something I said on Arch General?
No, I haven't.
No, no.
No.
So
If you guys see it, I'd like to know your thoughts on it. But anyway, thank you for having me on, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
yeah, you take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. So yeah, like I kind of mentioned earlier that the reason why, like, I mean, people often kind of like cite that Lorenzo di Bonaventura like actively sabotaged Transformers One. Um, I think it's just kind of, I mean, there could be like some credence to that, but I do think the main reason why Transformers One like did not do well in relation to Di Bonaventura, it really is because that Rise of the Beast, was just like such a mess. Like it, like Rise of the, like basically all they had to do going forward after Bumblebee was just to be like to not like people needed time to move away from the Michael Bay style of Transformers, like obviously because Age of Extinction and when you get right down to it, like the failure of the live action Transformers in cinema kind of started let's just say like the rot in the spine of that kind of started in Age of Extinction because the
Yeah.
fact that they wanted Transformers 4 and they didn't care how they got it, and even though the movie still made them a shit ton of money, um it was still like the movie was still so poor in quality that it just kind of irrevocably sort of shaped how the public perceives the Bayverse, as it is. And so when The Last Night came around, that movie, understandably underperformed because it was just it's just gonna be another Michael Bay Transformers movie. It's probably gonna be just like Age of Extinction. Um, Granted, it wasn't exactly like Age of Extinction; it was a whole other beast entirely. But that's beside the point. um,
Hmm.
and so by the time since they were making the Bumblebee movie regardless, no matter what, with Travis Knight involved, um, even with some conflict with Di Bonaventura aside, that movie was still at least was seen as a breath of fresh air essentially. It was sort of like the what would you just call it, the palate cleanser from the Michael Bay
Yeah.
movies, even with some similar design, sort of design quirks going on, like Bumblebee kind of somewhat resembling his Bayverse design, but he's still a lot more palatable for the movie, just being kind of more lighthearted. Um,
Hmm.
and then so really, what they should have done was actually just build off from Bumblebee as a foundation for a reboot. That's really what they needed to do at
Yeah.
that point. And then they have this, and so when they do a follow up, they don't go too crazy with it, and they definitely don't want to try to try to be like Michael Bay to be the Bayverse. But
The
Lorenzo,
problem, I think that there is a little problem, which is Bumblebee looking so close, so similar to the Michael Bay version, I think will have made that almost impossible because people will never stop relating it to the thing. And then Lorenzo also just talking shit and being like a fucking retard, saying that it's a prequel,
yeah,
when clearly no one that wrote the movie wanted it to be a prequel because it's literally impossible for it to be a prequel.
I just think,
You know, when
I
people were,
oh, sorry,
oh no, no,
sorry,
yeah, yeah, keep going. No, no, it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, the big, I think general audiences, considering that the Michael Bay movies were successful because the general it was they did seem to be appealing to the general public, at least for a
Mhm.
time. Like, I think they typically wouldn't really seek out those kinds of interviews of Lorenzo claiming it to be a prequel, of anything. They pretty much would just kind of if they were to go see the Bumblebee movie, they would just be like, "Oh, this actually kind of seems pretty different from the Michael Bay movies." It almost seems, whether they would be able to piece together or figure out that figure out that it's supposed to be a prequel or separate from the other movies is sort of but it would almost be sort of beside the point. They would just almost be like, this comes off as so different from the Michael Bay movies in terms of tone, in terms of the philosophy and how they're telling the story. It's it may as well just be its own thing. It's pretty much its own thing, and it really should have been its own thing. But the problem
Mhm.
is that Lorenzo was so let's just say he was so horny about making the movies be as close to the movies that were successful, that were huge back in the day. He was so desperate, and he got in the way, and he pretty much got in that movie's in the way of
whatever potential that Bumblebee had as like part of as the first of a rebooted series, to not only try to claim it as a prequel, but then to have the follow-up try to lean even harder as a prequel when it couldn't when there's just too many inconsistencies with the lore, compared to the Bayverse, to what's established in the Bayverse, for it to even remotely be possible for it to be in the same universe. And it's not just with Unicron. Like it's the fact that, like, let's just put it this way, like, how could Optimus Prime have been like on Earth since 1987 when the 2007 Bayformers film had it to where it made it seem like him and the Autobots had never been on Earth before that movie. Like they if the Bumblebee movie was supposed to be canon, you'd think that they would have had they would be less of a fish out of water, in the 07 film. So that way, like, them just awkwardly walking through Sam's like backyard, awkwardly, wouldn't even make sense anymore. Because like the point of that scene being, kind of funny is because like the Autobots are like unused to them being such big boys, compared to the scale of like how the humans live their lives essentially in their world.
Mm-hmm.
So and on top of that, Rise of the Beast isn't even like consistent with Bumblebee at times. I mean, like Wheeljack showed up for like 2 seconds in Bumblebee, and he looks like and he pretty much kind of resembles how he looked in G1. And you know what? He looked fine, essentially. Like, it's pretty much the best live action Wheeljack that we've gotten.
And then he's just like fucking Pablo.
Yeah, like, and then you get to Rise of the Beast, and it just like he looks nothing like how he did in Bumblebee. So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? It's like he's not consistent with how he appeared in Bumblebee, nor is he consistent with how he appeared in Dark of the Moon. So what are you doing?
Did Steven Spielberg do his stupid shit again? Maybe. Yeah. Like, he was the one to define Wheeljack in Dark of the Moon, and nickname him Q and all of that. So like, do we have any information on what the fuck happened to Wheeljack?
Well, here's the thing. I think Lorenzo would definitely have been involved with how Wheeljack appeared in Rise of the Beast, but apparently in Dark of the Moon, Wheeljack, or Q, like, he was kind of made the way he looked, not because of di Bonaventura. It was actually Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he wanted him to look like Einstein.
Yeah, I mean, that was, like, funny thing enough, that was not a di Bonaventura, like, sort of thing. A di Bonaventura.
I honestly think that it kind of worked, because you see like old guy robot, and when he gets killed, you just feel immediately worse than if he just looked like a Chad or some stupid shit like that, right? Like if he looked super buff, because it's like, oh no, they killed the grandpa. Right.
Yeah. The problem is, like, he looked like, I don't know, like there's something about his face that looks. He looks way too human. Like, there was no, like, that was like one of the design, and that's something I will go over in my video in Dark of the Moon, like some of the designs, pretty much, where I praise some of the designs, like Shockwave's design being pretty much consistent with the Bayverse philosophy of how the Decepticons are meant to look, but still keeping like elements of his classic look, essentially.
Yeah, Shockwave's probably like top 5 coolest designs of that decade, honestly, to me.
Yeah, and even like, and I'll even like sort of like to talk. I mean, like, not to go too much into it, but yeah, like but there will be like, but some designs like Q is Q is pretty much like the main one I would take issue with as far as designs. Because the fact that it's like it didn't strike the balance between like he looked way too human, and the face just like it looked like there's just something about it where it's like there's just something off about him compared to everybody else. So yeah.
Maybe I don't have that much of an issue with him because of how they completely ruin every single design from the fourth movie onwards. Like compared to something like I don't know, like literally anyone or Quintessa or bullshit like that, Q doesn't actually look that bad. So in retrospective, like if I try to go to the point where like Dark of the Moon just had released, yeah, no, he looks complete like he doesn't belong. Period. He just shouldn't even be there. He doesn't look like a Cybertronian.
So it's
But
just
then they
like the
started
benefit of
changing.
it's the benefit of
Yeah,
hindsight, I guess.
yeah, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess, like, I mean, like, even then, like, I think, like, I mean, I kind of like Hound as a design, pretty much. Like, it's kind of a like he look, like I don't know, like, there's something about him where that just kind of works essentially. I mean, Drift leans way too much into the samurai look. They probably should have like done something different with him. Crosshairs, like I'm kind like there's some things I'm fine with and some things I'm kind of iffy with. Like the whole the trench coat thing, like in theory, pretty much could have worked, but then it just like begs the question, like how does that work when he transforms essentially? Um, Hound is kind of like I mean, like Hound was like the one and was like the only only Autobot of the new Autobots in Age of Extinction that were design wise I was kind of like pretty chill with, essentially. I
Hmm.
mean, like it's like there's like compared to like like Yoda Bay versus designs that we got in the past, like he's like just kind of like okay, it's a bit questionable here and there, but yeah, but like for what they were trying to go for, like I think he kind of struck a decent balance essentially, like reason like fairly well. Um, it's just that unfortunately the Age of Extinction designs they streamlined so like there's like hardly any like vehicle kibble anymore. Pretty much that's kind of like the main issue with them.
Yeah,
Like
and the funny part is that the toys, like the third party ones, still somehow manage to transform them into the vehicles, and like so it's not impossible for them to transform. It's just
yeah,
that the decision is really bad. Like
yeah,
it's a really bad aesthetic decision.
yeah. Like I mean, I have the leader class Age of Extinction Optimus from Studio Series, and like well, I mean, I also have as well as like that Voyager version of Optimus from the Last Night, the Premiere
Hmm.
Edition. Like I pretty much like
Oh,
I
the old one, like the
yeah.
really old one. Okay, okay.
No, not well. Like keep in mind, not from Age of Extinction, from the Last Night. I want to make that clear.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I pretty much, so in a way, like I pretty much understand that Hasbro was sort of like given like an insurmountable task to try to translate these designs into like transformable figures. So, and I do think like for those figures, like there's still room for improvement to be sure. Like they just
Oh,
had
wait,
they had the
see,
backpack thing
see.
going on.
Before we go any further, have you seen Peru Kill?
Have seen what?
Have you ever heard of Peru Kill?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, the like that's I think that's from either Fans Toys or something like that. But yeah, no, the thing I meant is that there are some companies that have already made like transformable lockdowns, Optimus Prime. I think someone already did Drift, and he can go from the Bugatti to the robot to the helicopter. The helicopter is the worst mode, but he can
Hmm.
actually technically like pull it off a little.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, these designs are again like they can transform. It's just that visually it's like completely different people design them. And I would even say that Dark of the Moon already did this really fucking weird unnecessary thing when where they started giving them hair, like
Oh.
blue hair. Do you
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
like Sentinel, and you also have the dreads, kind of having something going on with that.
No. I mean, like you have Q who has blue hair, and then that
Oh,
little robot guy also has like blue
oh,
hair.
brains, yeah.
Yeah. I like brains, by the way. Like when they die, like doing all of that stuff with the ships, I thought that was like really well done.
Which
But
is
yeah,
funny,
and
which
then
is sad because he's brought back an Age of Extinction. They just
oh,
like,
he was oh
yeah, they brought yeah,
okay.
like no, here's the both him and Wheelie, they like their noble, their heroic deaths, their heroic sacrifice in Dark of the Moon, totally undone because Brains is like revealed in Age of Extinction to have been imprisoned by KSI to like do some studying on
Oh
like
my God, you're right. Yeah,
on the
he's the
transforming
one to
stuff.
tell them. Yeah, I knew that Megatron was coming back, but these pieces of shit annoyed me so much that I
Well,
just
I mean,
left
he was
him.
gonna come back as Galvatron, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But he knew and he didn't say anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, granted, like, I mean, let me put it, I mean, I guess like it's a matter of like not only with it like imprisoning him and even like shocking him at times when he's like acting up,
Yeah,
but they're also like having him like do this when they're bringing back like the remains of his old Autobot brethren that they're just like killing and smelting and transforming them to make robot transformers of their own. Like, so I mean, like, so I could kind of understand. It's like, like, it's like, man, fuck you guys. In a way, that's like I kind of get it, from Brains. Like, he's kind of like a bit more unconventional.
mhm.
Brains did a W revenge plot with Megatron.
Yeah. No, like again, I did like brains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and and Wheelie was revealed to have like survived, in the last night as well. So yeah, like both of them got. So yeah, like both their sacrifices got undone by the later two movies. That's why I'm just like why'd you do this?
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why Dark of the Moon
Totally.
should have just been the last one of the last film of the Bayverse, and why
To
they
me, it
should
is.
just yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I mean, like, let's just put it in hindsight, it should have been because then, like, they would have had, like, they could have just had to be like, all right, we're gonna take some time off, let people sort of like move past from the Bayverse, especially the fans, and then when we reboot it, like years from now, then we'll pretty much have it be closer. We can just like get the fans back, and maybe general audiences will also like, and hopefully general audiences will also stick around with that and just be like, oh hey, cool, okay, this is pretty different, but hey, I'm digging this. Like that's first what they
You
should
know
have
what
done.
franchise did the same shit, and I have just realized this. Pirates of the Caribbean. They had the perfect third movie.
Yes.
Then they make a fourth one that no one really cares about and no one really talks about it. It has like some cool things, but not even like all that much.
Hmm.
And then the fifth one is just like complete trash, and everyone like hates it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't. The funny thing is, like, I kind of, I guess it's like a thing. Like 4 and 5. I think I probably remembered like kind of liking the fifth one more than the fourth. Like the fourth one, I thought was kind of dull. But to be honest, when I watch, I don't know if I watched them, like if I were to go through the Pirates of the Caribbean movies again, like how that would change. But at least with the fourth and fifth movies, but yeah, I could definitely say like the first like the original trilogy as we would call it, pretty solid. There's some weird stuff in the third movie here and there. Like the third movie does get there is some things that are a bit much,
They start
but they
making
stuck
Jack
the
Sparrow
landing.
a little bit too stupid in certain scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like at World's End still stuck the landing pretty good at the end of the day, as far
Hmm.
as like a conclusion to that trilogy goes. Like especially like in the concept of how like the myths and the legends of like this of like the open seas, like they're all like going extinct because like such as with Davy Jones, who was like this feared, who was pretty much like the most terrified motherfucker in the seas. He's now like at the beckoning call of Lord Beckett. Now, like he's now under the control of Beckett, who's like just we're just taking over, getting rid of piracy. We're getting rid of it. Yeah.
And then in Dark of no, which one was the fourth one? Age of Extinction. When they
Yeah.
went with this whole okay, let's kill them all, like all the robots. We don't really care. That was just like so stupid too.
I mean, like,
Because it's like, okay, so that's how you want to start. So you want to make it like almost this post-apocalyptic. No, no, no. What's the word? It's like the thing you use for Blade Runner.
dystopian.
Dystopian, yeah, dystopian thing. Like, okay, so a city was like completely destroyed. There's like destroyed countries all over the place, but some of those were in Africa, so no one cares. And now you have like this like refugee war basically, and they don't even do anything with it. It's
They
just
don't
like
do.
so
Yeah, they don't do really. The thing is, like, they show like they pretty much like do like winks or even pay lip service to the fact that that's kind of going on through like a montage early in the film. In that film, when Kelsey Grammer is like sort of monologuing or providing exposition about like how the world is sort of was changed by the stuff in Chicago, but
yeah.
even when you look at Chicago, like looks fine. Like it's almost like there wasn't a like it's almost like the Decepticons never even turned it into a war zone in the last movie at all. Like you'd think like years later there would have been like some residue of it, but no, it just looks fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not even showing any like destroyed buildings that the driller, like passed through,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
That would have been super easy.
yeah, like that was like that whole thing, like that city could never have been able to recover from that, which then makes it even more awkward when the last night actually does try to bring in like some sort of reference that Chicago did get fucked in the ass by the Decepticons in the Dark of the Moon with the alien like contamination zone, where they did have like that sort of like dystopian like city in ruins type of look going on, like at least at the start of that movie. But that was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
And
even.
then with the little trash place, how do you call that in English? The place where the inventor was spending time, like full of trash.
Oh yeah,
Trash
like
yard,
yeah,
right?
he's in a junkyard. Yeah, he's kind of a
Junkyard.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's just chilling there with a bunch of robots and like that's it. No one notices.
Yeah, like, and also, like, why would you? Yeah, like, I mean, Grimlock and the Dinobots were basically, like Optimus said, like, you are free in the fourth movie, and now they're just hanging out with Mark Wahlberg, at the junkyard, and Grimlock is just eating up a cop car, like, as if he's like just like, oh hey,
A
yeah, like
dog.
like, or even just like, hey, you imagine Grimlock from G1 doing this, right? It's like. It's like, but this isn't G1 Grimlock. You established Grimlock to be a totally different character in the last movie.
Yeah. And then there's like baby dinosaurs. It's so retarded.
It's so weird.
The fifth movie is so fucking retarded. Like they were just trying to copy Star Wars. They Star Wars has like this little testicle rolling around. Oh, so we need to have like a little like fucking what would you even call this thing? Like it's like a failed abortion. Like you
Yeah.
try to abort a fetus, and that's what you get with this like
It didn't die.
blue thing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh God.
I don't even remember the name. And then they have like this stupid girl that's
Oh
like in the
yeah.
first half of the movie.
Yeah, she's well, no, she's in like no, she's from it's still around like for the second half of the movie, but it's like, what is she even doing here? Like she's literally brought to the front lines by Hound as like a field trip or something. When it's like, dude, the world is about to end. Why are you bringing a little girl to like a battle to like stop the world from getting destroyed?
You want to know why? I can tell you why.
Why?
Because they did it in Transformers Prime. That's
Yeah, they
why.
did
Because you
it.
have Miko in Transformers Prime and they do that, so they just wanted to copy it. And Hound is Miko's like friend or something, so they have Hound here. Well, actually, he has a different name in Prime because like fucking Michael Bay movies always were written with crayon and no one even knew the names. So they call him Hound when he literally just looks like Bulkhead from
Yeah.
Transformers Prime. Like, yeah, no, these movies are like, I think, the example of the worst possible writing you can have outside of soulless Disney writing. So Transformers writing, Disney writing, and I think that then you have like Wingard writing. But that one has evolved into something that's in between Transformers and Disney at this point because of GXK. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well. I mean, yeah. Like, yeah. Like, here's the thing. I would still. That's the thing. I would still pretty much defend. Yeah. I would. That's a. Here's the thing. Like, I would still defend. Like, '07 and even Darker Moon and even some parts of Revenge of the Fallen for actually just being, actually pretty, pretty neat from a writing
yeah, same.
standpoint. So they're like, I mean, that's why my Dark and Moon video is like, God, that's gonna be like. By the way, I'm still not done like recording, the readings of like my script for it yet. Like, so like I'm still like, I mean, like the script is done, just some tweaks here and there to fix some errors essentially, even while doing some recording. But yeah, like like I'm in the middle of recording. It's gonna like take like a few sessions, really, kind of like my GXK video. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, like the first three Bayformer films, it's like, like in terms of like the foundation that those movies have, like when you take them as like a collective, essentially, it's like it's all there, and it's actually an approach could make for make for something. It's actually pretty cool. You just need to like maybe sort of retweak some things, maybe rework some stuff here and there, tighten up the continuity a bit, so that we can get more good storytisms. Whereas 4 and 5, it's like at best, like at best, like at least for Age of Extinction, you would need to rework significantly, like almost entirely, to make that movie functional. And The Last Night, it's just like honestly, don't even do it. Don't even do The Last Night. It needs to be completely different. Like if you are doing a Transformers 5, it cannot be The Last Night, not even close. Because
The
it just
Last
doesn't.
Night
The Last Night just
can
destroys the
basically.
continuity. The Last Night, like whatever shred of continuity that was left after Age of Extinction, like The Last Night just made sure it was like unsalvageable, like completely.
I think that the whole like 4 and 5 can literally be summed up with that scene of Hannibal Lecter, just like old Hannibal Lecter, just walking around completely fucking senile. Then Megatron looks at him and just fucking shoots him, and he like flies away.
Yeah.
The writers don't know where the fuck they are. They're fucking high. They're stupid and retarded on top of that. And
They
then whenever they have like a slight hint of a potential idea, Lorenzo just looks at them and just like says, "No, make it worse," and he just fucking shoots at them, and they go flying all over the place. Like
Yeah.
the writing in these two movies is fucking horrible.
Yeah. But anyways, I actually found an article that does go a bit into like some of the details that the Bonaventura icons unearthed thing sort of goes into.
about
Okay.
how he was about how Di Bonaventura was like to blame for the franchise, kind of going down the way it did. All
Yeah.
right, so we'll just all right. So this is all right. This is like on. I mean, I know it's like apparently it's on CBR.com, but I mean, it seems like I mean, if they're not doing like an opinion blog or anything like that, I think it's just coverage about the actual documentary. So I don't think we're gonna. So we should be fine. It's hard to say. All right. All right. The Icons Unearthed episode of Transformers starts from the very beginning, going into how the franchise was rebranding of Takara's previous Diaclone toy line before being changed for the market by Hasbro, Marvel Comics, and Sunbow Entertainment, or something like that. From there, it details the rise, fall, and rise again of the robots in disguise, from the initially controversial Beast era to the live-action movies spearheaded by Michael Bay. All right, so yeah, that's a little bit of background there. The last of these films to be made by Bay, Transformers The Last Night, was a noticeable box office disappointment, reflecting how the series' infamously terrible reception had caught up with it and finally superseded its special effects appeal. This resulted in the 2018 movie Bumblebee, a film planned as a prequel that was pivoted last minute into a loose reboot. Despite this haphazard change, the movie itself was very well received, even seen by some as perhaps the only great entry in the series at the time. Yeah, that's just so. Yeah, again, it's a little background there, but unfortunately, this didn't allow its director Travis Knight to follow up on this success with a true sequel. Yeah. So basically, like some drama. Yeah, basically, like him and Di Bonaventura did have some drama on set when making Bumblebee, and that's why he didn't come back for the sequel. Which can't really blame Knight for that.
It's so funny thinking of someone so retarded, like screaming at people just
Yeah,
because they're trying to do a good job.
yeah, they're trying. Yeah, like
Like,
they're trying to make a decent. It's like, do you want me to make a good movie or not? Like, like
yeah, here's the thing. That first sequence in Cybertron, I love it, but just it doesn't work with the movie. I think it gives you like a little sugar rush, and then by the time you get action again, you're so fucking bored because it gives you fake false expectations. Like you have okay, like the chase, and like this guy comes around, he takes away Beast's voice and all of that.
yeah,
But the movie is not actually trying to be an action movie, and I think that the beginning just kind of leads you to believe that it's going to reach maybe some of the potential that Michael Bay movies have for the action.
yeah. So what do you? Well, yeah, that's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Di Bonaventura was the reason for why we had that opening scene. So
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, some people like the scene. I'm not saying that it's a bad one, and I think that it's well done, and I
no, I
think
like
that
it too. Yeah,
I rather have it than not have it. But I
yeah.
don't
Like
know
I
if it's
said,
the
there's like
best decision
yeah,
for the movie itself.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's even a point where the movie literally stopped. Like when Bumblebee gets like that message from Optimus, I have a feeling that the Cybertron flashback stuff wasn't even meant to be in the original movie. Like I think like when Bumblebee like gets that like when like the scrambled up message of Optimus pops up when Charlie accidentally sort of like starts it up while they're like in the woods to fix him up. Um,
Hmm.
like I think that was meant to be like the message was playing and then it just like cuts off at the end. We weren't supposed to like get a flashback to like seeing like more of Optimus kicking ass and taking names on Cybertron. Um, like it really just seemed like we need more action. So yeah,
Yeah.
and that would have been a Di Bonaventura. That was like a Lorenzo-tism. Unfortunately, even as like people were like, yeah, but it's the best stuff in the movie because it looks like Transformers. And like, yeah, but it doesn't really belong in the rest of this movie though. And if anything, it kind of just
I mean, like I can completely
kind of
understand somebody.
hijacked.
Yeah, it kind of hijacks it, at least temporarily, for a moment, even for a moment, and it makes it just kind of awkward in the grand scheme of things. I'm like, okay, so this really now. I mean, I could definitely like. I mean, considering that I still really like Bumblebee at the end of the day, I still consider it to be the best of the live action movies. But in terms of but yeah, I can totally understand somebody getting. I can totally understand there being some whiplash going on in terms of like you have like this stuff with Cybertron that kind of just seems out of place. And even then, like the message that Optimus sends to Bumblebee, it's not entirely consistent with the dialogue that we hear from him during the opening scene. Like, or at least not entirely. Like, it's not word for word exact. So it's kind of yeah, it's just kind of weird. But anyways, Transformers: Rise of the Beast was released in 2023 to somewhat middling reviews and a similar box office performance. And while most saw it as a vast improvement over the Bay films, yeah, I'd argue like it's an improvement over over The Last Night and maybe Age of Extinction.
Yeah, the last two.
Like it may be it's probably more coherent, although it's mainly because like there isn't as much backstory for it to work, for it to like fuck up, that Bumblebee set up, I suppose. But it still doesn't really. No, it's not an improvement over the first three movies. Not even Revenge of the Fallen. I'm sorry, like it's just not. And I'm not even arguing from a visual standpoint. Not just arguing from a visual standpoint. I think even from a writing standpoint, it doesn't really work compared to Revenge of the Fallen. Like Revenge of the Fallen actually has better writing than Rise of the Beast, but I digress. But that's not here or there.
Yeah, the thing is, they attempt to do better, but I also don't think that they actually reach.
No, they
much.
never. No,
the characters are fine, but not great. The villain is lame.
The characters just the human characters, they're just kind of there. I mean, like they pretty much give us a little bit of like, oh hey, look at Noah Diaz, he's struggling and all that, but one day, but just you wait, he's gonna be something. He's gonna do something really cool that's gonna make his brother proud. It's like it still just comes off as kind of hollow, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it does.
And honestly, like the whole I kind of found like when he's like trying to get back up while Mirage just like does some mass shifting to give him like that sort of like Iron Man suit thing going on. His little brother just giving him like a little speech to get him back up and motivated. Like I thought it was kind of cringe. Where it's like you're Noah Diaz from Brooklyn, New York. It's like oh my god. Like, stop.
And then every New Yorker clapped.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, how do you say that? New Yorkian? How do you call yourselves? You people.
New Yorkers.
Okay. Then every New Yorker claps.
You people. Hey, look, I'm not from New York City, by the way, just so you know. So
New Jersey, was it?
No, I'm not from New Jersey. No, I'm from upstate New York. Like, here's the thing. I have to clear this up. I had to clear this up with so many people. Okay, like when I say I'm from New York, I mean I'm not from New York City. I'm not from Manhattan. I'm from the states beyond New York City. So there's a whole bunch of land after that. Like, you know. Yeah, there's like a whole chunk of. It's not like if you go from.
You're avoiding the drama.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
You're in the safe zone.
Yeah, we're pretty much in. You could say that we're in the safe zone. Anyways, the Stephen Caple Jr. directed film Rise of the Beast wasn't seen as being nearly as good as Bumblebee. That much is true. It is not as good as Bumblebee. Not even. Yeah, I mean, like I just like. By the way, I just. It's like one of those things where, like, it really I totally understand people just being like, this kind of comes off too much like Revenge of the Fallen, because like let's think about it, like an iconic beloved Autobot like dies at some point only to be brought back to life essentially, like Optimus in Revenge of the Fallen, Bumblebee in Rise of the Beast. Yeah, like I mean, just take that as you will. Except Optimus dying in Revenge of the Fallen, even if it was temporarily, it actually had more impact, which is bizarre.
Also, he got actually killed.
Yeah, he actually died.
Bumblebee just got the big suck.
Yeah, he got the big. Here's the thing. That makes no goddamn sense. This is that's like one example why Scourge kind of really sucked as a villain. It's like, so you're pretty much totally. You have like this weapon even built into you where you're able to like blast like a huge hole into a bot, like you did with Ape Link at the start of the movie. But you don't do that with Bumblebee. Like, why would you not
that
do
annoyed
that?
me so much in the movie, and I was like, ah, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Right there and then I was like, ah, fuck you. You're going to bring him back to life.
You're gonna bring him back
pussies.
to life. Exactly. It's like,
what a bunch of fucking cowards.
Yeah.
That was Lorenzo. I'm sure that was Lorenzo.
That was Lorenzo. It's like, we need this to be like Revenge of the Fallen, except worse.
By the way, did you know that at one point in the script, and I'm sure that this was also Lorenzo because fuck that bitch. At one point in the script, RC and Pablo, because I refused to call that fucking nerd Wheeljack. So RC and Pablo are having like a conversation, and she's like in his band form, right? And he's like, "Oh, it's been so long since you were inside me." Did you know that they will have like a thing where they will be like, "Oh, being inside someone."
Yeah.
And there is a line still in the movie, by the way, where they say Blue, not Jazz, says that to
Mirage.
Noah. Yeah, Mirage. He says that to Noah at one point, if you don't recall.
Oh, yeah.
And that was supposed to be like a constant joke throughout the movie with different characters.
Oh yeah, have you noticed that like Mirage like does like it's so fucking funny that people just be like, man, why can't the Bayverse just be like G1? It's like, you wanna know why? Because you wanna know why they're not like that? Because they don't, because one of the things is that G1 did like this thing called mass shifting that when you get right down to it makes no goddamn sense, where the robots just like they just change sizes just because for plot convenience, essentially. The Bayverse didn't do that, at least not typically. In Rise of the Beast, they did that with Mirage because at some point he disguises himself as a garbage truck so that Noah could get like that half of the transwarp key from the museum. Like,
wait,
I'm not kidding. Like,
no, but wait, he makes holograms. I think that's just supposed to be a hologram. It's not that he actually transforms into it.
No, it actually looks like no. There's no suggestion that that's a hologram. Like he just like Noah gets out of him like he's like it's a tangible like door for a garbage truck. Like it's not like.
Oh really?
No, there's no hologram trickery at all. Like I mean, you like I don't blame you for not remembering that. Because you think like, yeah, considering that Mirage does this whole hologram thing, that would like surely that would make more sense. But no, no, that's just an alt mode for him. Like another alt mode that he does, like a garbage truck. He could just turns into. That's a thing he does. He just says, "Hey, I can transform into whatever you want, like another sports car or a F1 car or like a Formula One race car." Hence the callback to like G1. It's God,
So, just talking about mass shifting. One of the comics made it very clear that it could make sense, but it takes so much energy that only certain robots can do it. And I think that, just being close to the transformation is actually very dangerous because of how much energy is just like released. So I think you can make it work and actually make it really cool. For example,
you have
after
to,
transforming, Megatron is basically catatonic, so someone has to shoot him, right? Someone has to use the gun and shoot themselves.
yeah,
So
I
you
mean,
could do stuff with it, but this is not the way to do it.
yeah, I mean, like you
Not even
have to like
acknowledging it.
you would have to establish it as being a thing that's the case, so that you
Yeah.
don't just you like that's the thing. You got to have like having robots needing a lot of energy, and that just like sort of makes them a bit weaker. Like you said, you got to set some kind of limitations for these things for what to suggest why they wouldn't do it so frequently, because then you'll just be asking why aren't they doing this more frequently. Yeah. Anyways, we'll continue with the article here. According to Icons Unearthed, a big issue was the uneven scope stemming from before Capel Jr. stepped on board. Knight had reportedly left the project beforehand due to differences with Lorenzo di Bonaventura. Even when the new director came on board to align with di Bonaventura's vision, there was consistent micromanaging on the part of the producer, who was constantly on set. Meanwhile, the script for the film was constantly changing, with whole sections being added or discarded on a daily basis. The result was a movie that had a tangibly muddled scope, along with a budget that it had gone over due to constant last-minute alterations. So yeah, like di Bonaventura was just fucking around on set over and over and over again. Like they could not make that movie work. That it's like I mean, I mentioned with Hoshi. This is like something that you've seen, that you would have heard back in the heard like going on with the MCU movies lately.
Yeah. He basically behaved like a fucking bratty child who
Yeah.
like has no limitations. I cannot believe people like this exist. Dude, this is the problem with society and technology. We are denying nature. We are stopping natural selection, and because of that, we have to suffer the consequences of Bonaventura being a thing that can actually survive in our world. Would Bonaventura survive in a cave? No, he wouldn't. So he should be in a cave. So we're rid of his incompetence. We should put Bonaventura in an island, so he can go fuck himself.
Yeah. Oh, man. Per Icons Unearthed, di Bonaventura had pushed for an increase in action and robots, regardless of whether they made sense in the story or had any real relevance in the plot. Oh, by the way, here's another thing that I'm wondering if the whole thing of like, oh, Scourge has this like device that can corrupt a Cybertronian to basically be like a temporary servant for him. He does that with Air Razor, and so that's why he's able to get the rest of the transwarp key from the Autobots, and why Optimus Primal like kills her in a scene that's supposed to be sad. Like he's putting her out of her misery, essentially. Per her request, essentially. Why doesn't he use that with Optimus? Or any of the other Autobots, for that matter? You'd think that would have been he pretty much could have used that device on Optimus earlier in the film, during the fight.
But see, he was out of mana.
He's out of mana.
Oh, he was on cooldown. He ulted, and he landed on the fucking eagle.
Oh, God. As a result, key Beast Wars Maximals, such as Rhinox, were essentially only in the movie as cameos, and with the constant changes in Capel Jr.'s lack of experience with intensive visual effects, the action scenes didn't get the required amount of polish. So yeah, like, there's like it's like, that's the thing. This movie really is just, it's funny, like the movie, like people just often say it as being better than like the Michael Bay movies, like, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, like, based on like what I'm seeing here, like how, like I just don't understand how. I just don't know how you could possibly come to the conclusion that this is like one of the better Transformer movies. I just don't get it.
That's just because those people hate Bay,
Yeah,
because they blame him for everything instead of realizing who the actual retard is, which is Bonaventura. Fuck
yeah,
him.
yeah. Michael Bay didn't want to make Transformers 4 and 5. He wanted the third movie to be his last one, but Di Bonaventura or somebody in Paramount, probably Di Bonaventura, they still wanted him to make Transformers movies. If anything, Michael Bay was like I want to make Pain and Gain or 13 Hours of Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. I mean, like I think at least Pain and Gain was cited as being the one as being like where he just had to make a deal with the devil essentially. I don't know about 13 Hours. I think that might be although I wouldn't be surprised if that's a similar case where it's like all right, I made you guys a shit ton of money for Transformers 4. All right, can I do 13 Hours? It's like, oh sure, Michael Bay, go right ahead. But can you do Transformers 5 for us?
Yeah.
And so I think
and the guy is good at directing action, whether you like it or not. Like honestly, whenever I see people saying, "Oh, I cannot tell what's going on the screen," that's just a bunch of angst.
that's a skill issue.
Yeah, that's all people's problems. Like I never had any issues with it.
Yeah, no, me neither.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? It's not even like a thing that you can blame people for. Maybe it's just not for you, but like it's not the movie's fault or the director's fault. That
Yeah, exactly.
you do indeed have a skill issue.
Yeah, I mean, like there could be like some instances where maybe could be some shots that may be a bit too close, up on the robots here and there. But I mean, like more often than not,
90% of the movie is exactly. You have like a lot of space to see what's going on.
Yeah, you still get a pretty good idea. You should be able to get a pretty good idea of like who's a good guy and who's a bad guy, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Rise of the Beast thus failed to truly build upon the acclaim of its predecessor, and in some ways, it was too much like the simple, loud, and poorly received Michael Bay movies that had soured the brand's reputation before Bumblebee temporarily turned things around. Yeah, I mean, so like Di Bonaventura just wanted another Bayformers films, but without understanding like why the Bayformer films even worked as well as they did, in their heyday. Essentially, like he wanted Cable Jr. to essentially make a Michael Bay Transformers film, when honestly, that's not what when Cable Jr. wasn't that kind of filmmaker who would be able to replicate that. Like that's really just what it boils down to. Like he wanted a Bayformers film. Like Di Bonaventura wanted a Bayformers film. Wanted a movie that was going to be that like Cable Jr. pretty much would do, but unfortunately, it's just not. It just will not translate well at all. Right down to how the visual effects are implemented. Like you have because when you look at like the visual effects in the Bayformer films, like at least the first 3 films, they still look incredible. Like I will still die on the hill that like they are like that the original trilogy of Bayformer films have some of the best CGI like ever to ever put the film. I would even say like without those films sort of paving the way for visual effects, we wouldn't have like movies like Avatar essentially.
And I would even say to the point where the physical effects never looked as good as the CGI in 2007. Like I can appreciate that they built like a fake Bumblebee.
Yeah,
but he just doesn't look as good as the CG model.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can pretty much kind of agree to that. I think like in that sort of instance, it's sort of like a matter of they're trying to make it seem like he's like overwhelmed by like the cryo sort of stuff, cryo gas.
But the animatronic, like the movement, it just makes him look horrible because he's not moving enough.
Yeah, it does look a little awkward at times where it's like,
But even the other small guy, Frenzy, he doesn't really like. I think that there should have been better coordination between the CG effects and the practical stuff because, yeah, they just lose so much expression when they're the physical like puppets or stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's actually kind of ironic when you think about it. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you think like, oh hey, like everything should be, yeah. That's why the whole thing of like like Plinkett like saying like everything is better, every CG special effects look better if it's it's actually something in front of the camera as opposed to CG, as opposed to being done on a computer. When it's like, yeah, but what if the practical effect doesn't achieve very well in some cases, like you're gonna tell me that you're gonna have like a truck, like a real practical truck, transform into Optimus Prime? Like how is that? Like you're gonna expect them to do that? Like they have to do CGI. There's no fucking way that's.
I mean, you can do it. You just have to teach him, right? Like that's all you have to do. You just have to train it.
Yeah, but
Rufus, transform. You have to transform. Do it, and then he just does it. Like it's just a. Don't you know this? See,
yeah, I mean, like I pretty much get that you have like those like electronic like transformer figures that are like out there, like the RoboSyn ones. But those are toys. They're like, I mean, like granted,
and G1 on top of everything. So
Yeah.
the aesthetic is completely different,
yeah, like
and
yeah,
its
the designs are
transformation
totally-
is super simple.
yeah, like the transfer, yeah, like they have to be simple, otherwise otherwise like the animatronics just won't work. Like they're just like it's gonna fuck over the electronics, and it will just be like, well, shit. Now what do we do? We just have to make it simple. Yeah, that's why I'm saying like we can't just have like an actual life-size truck turned into a life-size Optimus Prime as a practical effect as an animatronic, because like that is like there's no way that's gonna work. Like it's way too much. Like you just got to think about like how like what you have to do. Like at that point, you just have to say, all right, we're just gonna have to do. They're gonna have to be CGI because there's no way we can make this work. In fact, some of these robots, like Megatron, they don't even turn into an actual into a real, like you have like you have Decepticons that turn into military vehicles that like they charge money. Like the military charges you a shit ton of money just to like show footage of their vehicles alone, like just doing stuff, like just doing normal vehicle things, like that's not even accounting. Like you have to get the rights to film an F-22 Raptor like taking off, or you have to like pay some kind of fees for that. Like yeah, you're gonna tell me you're gonna like you would want them to like somehow replicate like an animatronic Starscream for the Bayverse? Like, are you kidding me? Like it's gonna have to be CGI. Like yeah, that's that's kind of and so yeah, like I have a huge appreciation for the Bayverse from like a visual standpoint, at least as far as like the original trilogy. Like I will say Age of Extinction and Last Night is where the quality does dip pretty much. Like there's times where there's some, I mean, like it's kind of mainly through like some green screen that looks especially in Age of Extinction, that looks pretty terrible. But like like some of it, as well as like some of the KSI robots transforming like that. Obviously,
Oh yeah, like cubes. Yeah,
especially when they transform into polygons and cubes and all that shit. Oh yeah, that looks awful. The Last Night doesn't have that, so the CG, so that's kind of like the one thing The Last Night pretty much has over Age of Extinction. Like the CGI is a bit more consistent, where it's like at least like.
but even then, I would say that still hurts the story itself because it makes no sense.
Right.
Because here's the thing, we might not like how it looks, but it's OP as fuck that they can just do that. So it's like, why would Megatron ever go back to the typical transformation?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like we don't like The Last Night doesn't even remotely explain like how he like. Okay, so now he ditched the Galvatron persona, which he kind of adopted an Age of Extinction, which that in and of itself doesn't make sense when we understand like Megatron as a character such as he is from the other movies. But but I digress. Yeah, like how did he do that? How did he like go from being Galvatron to now just going back to Megatron? Like as if he, like as if he never went through. I mean, like aside from looking pretty different from what we've seen of him before, like it may as well just be like he may as well just like not even had gone through a transformation, one may call it.
Here's the thing. I can go from Galvatron to Megatron. Like, I can do that like me. It's called schizophrenia. And I can also turn into Jeremy. Who's Jeremy, you might ask? I would say don't ask questions you don't want the answers for.
Are you
So,
saying
yeah,
you're the
like,
quartering?
Holy shit. Okay, no. Not that one.
Oh god. Ugh.
Do the quartering. Ugh.
Oh god, yeah, that's that's so funny. Like he got eclipsed by the whole utterly Noah shit. You know, that's that like which I didn't think that was possible, but here we are.
I don't even know who Noah is. And
Utterly
I don't really care enough.
Oh, Otterly no. Oh, you don't know who Otterly? Oh my God, the guy who was plagiarized. Yeah, he's the guy who was who plagiarized a whole bunch of videos. EFAP did coverage on him, and he was like the guy that Mr. Who was like trying to run cover for until like at some point he stopped doing that.
Oh,
Yeah, all that drama. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, EFAP did their coverage on that kind of stuff, which is it's incredible. Like it has better like there's like the drama there is like better written than like most media we get these days, which is hilarious when you get right down to it.
Lorenzo Trasaventura, take notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Take notes.
Well, Lorenzo's not a writer, so like I don't know if he can read. I don't know if he can read or write. For all we know.
I'm pretty sure he can't.
Oh yeah, did you know? Like I don't know if you remember this. Like apparently there was like a press junket or Q&A or something. Like I kind of mentioned this before, but I'll figure just like reiterate it here. Like did you know? Like so Stephen Cable Jr. and Lorenzo were at like this junket. They were asked questions, and one of them was about whether or not Rise of the Beast was a prequel or still part of a rebooted series. Cable Jr. tries to answer that. It looked like Cable Jr. was trying to answer that question, but but Lorenzo like cut him off and said like it's set in the 90s, so it's set before the 07 movie, the Michael Bay movies. So
also, he knows how time works. Nice.
Yeah. So it's a prequel. So it's and Cable Jr. and you could just tell Cable Jr.'s all like Cable Jr.'s like, I am so fucking sick of this man. It's such bullshit. Yeah. Anyways, back to the article. Even worse, the 2024 animated movie Transformers 1, which was unrelated to the continuity of the live-action films, was a box office bomb despite being the best reviewed in the franchise. At this point, the property is more associated with lackluster filmmaking when it comes to the big screen, which can seemingly be laid at the feet of its producer, at least according to Icons Unearthed. Yeah, and like you have... like Lorenzo, like even claiming that like TF1 was like also a prequel, even though like that makes even that it's like it just goes like this fucking idiot. Like if he says like he loves the Michael Bay movies, then like why is he saying stupid shit like this as if like as if he's never watched any of these Transformers movies? Like he loved the fact that Michael Bay's movies used to have made him money. That's really what it boils down to. Because otherwise,
he's literally Mr. Krabs without any fucking likability.
Yeah, that's I mean, yeah, that's why that of course like you wouldn't you couldn't have possibly have watched these movies. You only loved them because liked the franchise because they made you money. That's why of course that is why you didn't give a shit about whether or not Unicron didn't give a shit about to find out if you find out that Unicron in Rise of the Beast could is a separate entity from how he was in the Last Night. That's why you would say that TF1 is a prequel to the Bayformer films, even though you have characters like Sentinel Prime in TF1 be nothing like how he was in Dark of the Moon, and his relationship with the characters in Dark of the Moon be completely different from how they were in TF1. That couldn't possibly coexist. Yeah, exactly. Who hired this bomb? He really. That's the thing. He's the producer of Madam Web, so or one of the producers at least. So make of that as you will.
He's the reason why nepotism should be a sin.
But here's the thing: like, who is he like? Who was he like related to that was like before he became a producer? Like, was there
So
like?
the thing is, nepotism comes from two things: friends or family, and also a third option, which is who you fuck. I'm pretty sure that Lorenzo Bonaventura is a sub, and someone like either fucked him in the ass or something enough times that they were like, okay, Lorenzo, so yeah, now you can be a producer. You earned it. And he was like, now I can make movies where dogs are humping. I earned it. Hell yeah.
Now I get to make a movie where where someone uses the Romeo and Juliet law to defend him like banging a 17-year-old. Now I get to make Madam Web. What is that? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out, but I'm sure find out when that happens.
Wait, now that you say that, I just have to go and search for something. Let me see. Okay, Google Lorenzo Bonaventura.
Yeah, so like I completely understand Stevie Cable Jr. not wanting to be involved with this idiot ever again. Certainly not with a GI Joe Transformers crossover. Which why don't we look into that?
So I'm looking for Lorenzo's pictures. First of all, this guy has been always like ugly as hell, and he just looks like a complete idiot.
He
Like
does.
from a young age to whenever he was old. But the thing is, I cannot find any pictures of him like as a young person.
Or relatively young. Like maybe there's like less gray in his hair, but other than that, ugh, yeah, what a fool. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's like trying to see if I could find anything. Uh, oh, loud just disappeared. Oh, yep. Well, we'll give him a bit. He's trying to look something up. So, yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, let me look into something else. E. Yeah. Okay, let's see. right, let's see here. Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. Yeah, I mean, so needless to say, from what we've kind of gone over at this point, yeah, it should be pretty. This should kind of pretty clearly, it kind of makes it pretty clear as to why I'm very apprehensive about ever wanting to see a crossover between Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like, it just doesn't. Yeah. Like, he just doesn't deserve it. All right, I guess we'll. All right. All right, so here we go. All right, here we go. We found an article. Kind of. Something. So we got a little something here. All right, Screen Rant. We'll just go over that real quick. All right. All right, here we go. 3 years later, we finally got the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover moment we've all been. Oh, it's like from a comic. Is it? Wait a minute. Wait, seriously? Oh, this is just. Oh, it's for. What the hell? Come on. Really? Okay. All right. So yeah, basically they're just still. Yeah, it's like there's words of like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's coming. It's coming, people. We're getting that crossover. It's like, sure. It's still like the film is expected to release in 2026. Ah, well, no, it's not. Yeah, basically, there's just not really any talk about it at all. Okay. It really isn't. Like, I'm not really finding it. I can't really seem to find anything. No. Yeah, like, apparently we were supposed to have gotten it by now if Rise of the Beast had done well enough, but it didn't. So, and considering that Transformers 1 didn't do very well either, yeah, and like after like that, like the fact that Paramount announced that they weren't doing any more Transformer movies, at least for the foreseeable future, except for the word of Michael Bay potentially coming back. Yeah, no, I don't know why Di Bonaventura thinks he deserves to have that GI Joe Transformers crossover because like he fucked up the Transformers franchise so much. You can even say he also fucked up the GI Joe franchise. So I don't even. I don't know why. Like the nerve of this man, the fucking nerve of this man. Anyways, waiting to see if Lau will be back. So, just so we can kind of get something. Yeah, just kind of see what's up. Basically, here we go. Let me find out. Got here. Now, let me check on Discord here real quick, just so I can pull it up. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating dude, Lorenzo. What can I say? Apparently, he also produced like the Constantine movie from 2005 with Keanu Reeves. Interesting. Nope. Oh God. God, take a picture of them. Oh, oh no. Ugh. Let's see. What has been a producer for? Oh, apparently he was a producer for the Meg movies as well. I actually didn't know that. Either that, I forgot about it. So, Oh God, he produced a replica. Oh fuck, replicas. Jesus Christ. Oh God. That God. Now. I'm remember. I remember. I barely remember that movie. That's awful. Oh. Oh. Welcome back.
Okay. So what happened is that I was just trying to see if I could find any pictures from this guy from, like when he was young. And there's literally nothing. It's like he just spawned in as an old fart.
Well, here's the thing. I'm looking
And
through his filmography, and it looks like the earliest that he was like involved in as being a producer or executive producer or anything, was 2005. And so like when he did a movie called Four Brothers and the Doom movie with Dwayne Semper Fi motherfucker Johnson.
uh-huh.
So
So yeah, no, that reeks of nepotism. So the guy maybe just had money because he was like a rich fuck, which would explain why he's such a spoiled brat that just wants to make everything his own way, which is the
yeah.
stupid, retarded way.
Oh yeah, I mean I also
The-
mentioned Constantine. He did the 2005 Constantine movie.
But like, so here's the thing: producer is a nebulous role.
Yeah.
What type of producer was he for Constantine?
It just let me see. It just says producer, but he's not not executive. Just like primarily. Let me pull it up here. Come on. Oh, yeah. Well. Granted, there was a whole bunch of other producers for Constantine.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
He's
What
one of
did
them.
he actually do?
I mean, here's the thing. I haven't seen Constantine, so I can't really say much about the quality of that movie. So, like, maybe that movie could be all right. Maybe or not. I don't know.
Artistically, it has a lot of good things. People say it's underrated, but people say a lot of things are underrated. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's the thing I keep in mind. But yeah, like, yeah, like as far as like some stuff he's done, like he was also the producer of like the Meg movies. Well, one of the producers of Meg. So there's that. Meg
Yeah,
one.
so he was just trying to, sell movies to China.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that. Yeah.
He was
That.
one of those.
Yeah. There aren't. Yeah. I mean, like. Yeah. Like his name is like the first to come up as like a credit as like a producer credit for the Meg one. Now let's see. Meg 2, The Trench. Probably more or less the same. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. The same. So yeah, because those movies like did pretty well. They appeal to China. Yeah. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah,
So not.
basically, like the movies aren't great. They're fine. Like they're not striving to be anything meaningful, even like not even close. So it's easy to make something like that that's actually like decent. It's not really like something to write home about or to be like super proud of.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, have you heard of this movie called Replicas that starred Keanu Reeves? he was a producer for that as well.
I haven't even heard of that.
It's like a movie where it's like a sci-fi movie. It starred Keanu Reeves, who was like a neuroscientist who tries to like bring his family back to life by I guess like cloning them, like reproductive human cloning or something like that. And there's also a robot in there, and it's like a shitty CG robot. It looks like something out of like from a sci-fi original movie. I'm not even kidding. And this movie got a theatrical release for some reason.
Okay, replicas. Keanu Reeves. Okay, I have to see it. If you say that it's like that bad.
That's a problem.
Oh shit, that looks bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks.
no, that looks horribly bad.
You've
I'm
seen
looking at the robot right now.
Oh fuck! Yeah, it's kind of horrific. Ugh.
Yeah, so Lorenzo is basically pure nepotism. He probably didn't do much shit when he was. I can never say young because he was born as he looks right now. I'm pretty sure of that. Like he's just one of those homunculus that go around the world without any talent. But there's someone's kid, right? So they just get contacts.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, when you get enough credits as producer, no one really asks you, oh, okay, so what did you do exactly, right? Like, okay, so you just have your name in enough movies, so now you just get to pretend that you're a true producer.
Yeah,
Kind of like that guy who did Castlevania, that Indian guy that then went and he made the adaptation for Devil May Cry.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, so apparently here, let me see. Here. I mean, I'm going off of Wikipedia right now, so you can take this as you will. But okay. Di Bonaventura spent the 90s as an executive in the film industry, eventually rising to president of worldwide production for Warner Brothers Pictures. So apparently he actually was in charge somewhat for at Warner Brothers.
So executive producer, that just means you have money.
Well, he
And
was
you
an
invest in
executive
movies.
he was an executive in the film industry, and then he became president of apparently he became president of Warner Brothers. Let me find out actually. Let me look at that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can become president by just like having enough money. Like you just buy enough of it. You just collaborate enough that you become so like prevalent that you can like become a president because you are one of the investors.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a okay. Yeah. Yeah, you got that. His production company, Di Bonaventura Pictures, is based at Paramount. His tenure at Warner Brothers included discovering and shepherding The Matrix into production, as well as purchasing the rights to the Harry Potter books. So, yeah. So basically, he kind of like was. So apparently he played a hand in the Harry Potter film franchise even coming to be, essentially. So, as well as The Matrix. So it's kind of like, which is interesting.
Yeah, he did manage to put his greasy fingers all over the place. Just okay. So what I mean when I say that you don't actually need any talent or to even do anything important. See, one thing that I think you could find very interesting is Adi Shankar's career. You can look at it later. Basically, Adi Shankar. Ah, fuck! I'm dying.
Oh.
It's a guy that kind of did some stuff, nebulous stuff. Maybe he was like an assistant producer even at like one movie right? And then he went all over the place pretending that he had produced it on his own, right?
Yeah.
And everyone believed him. Like you cannot believe how easy it is to lie to people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, eventually he got in control of the Castlevania anime when it was in production hell, and then he took credit for that too, right? And that's how he got to actually direct or create the Devil May Cry anime later
Yeah.
on. But by then, people had already realized that this guy's a fucking fraud.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said Kathleen Kennedy, but vibes, but worse.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, like, unironically just became a thing because she fucked Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the thing is, like, yeah, I think that that's the thing. Like, Kathleen Kennedy, like, didn't really like her contributions to like some of like to like when she was working with Steven Spielberg and all that back in the day. It just kind of seemed like those contributions like didn't really amount to much at all. Essentially,
People that worked with her said that she was a secretary,
yeah,
and randomly she would like spout out ideas, and those ideas were completely like irrelevant and
yeah,
non sequiturs,
yeah.
and that she even sucked at making coffee.
So basically, Lorenzo. So like, do we know if Lorenzo sucks at making coffee? That's what I would like to know.
He probably cannot even make water.
He can't even make water.
You give him a piece of ice and tell him to make it into water, he burns it and evaporates it.
Yeah. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy. It says Kathleen Kennedy is at least is noted to be a good producer, but she isn't creative, so she can't be in charge of Star Wars. That's the thing. Like, I meant like maybe like she like maybe in terms of like there was like something that she was that she may have been kind of good at some point. That's why she was able to have had that sort of long-term career and even be involved with some of like the most like beloved like works like of all time, like some Indiana Jones.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's mainly because of Steven Spielberg. Yeah, like well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Like she.
Yeah, because people say, "Oh yeah, he kept bringing her," and it's like, "Oh yeah, I wonder why."
Yeah, maybe like Spielberg as a producer, like he's like a better producer than her. Maybe she at least picked up on some things that's like, oh hey, if I just do something like what he did, maybe I'll get some success. And she may have been able to just get by on that more than
Yeah.
anything. Whereas Lorenzo, I don't know who knows what the fuck he pretty much got.
Lorenzo has never been in anything that's like super high profile, where his name is the focus. Like you mentioned, Matrix and Harry Potter, but it's like, yeah, probably he was like an executive producer because no one talks about his work in those movies. Everyone
here's
talks
the
about
thing.
Transformers,
Well, here's the thing.
Transformers.
Yeah, here's the thing. He
Yep.
was a president. Well, that's the thing. He was a president for Warner Brothers, but people don't talk about that. Like they just think like, oh, they just view Warner Brothers as the entity, as like just like a big whole entity, as opposed
I mean, to be
like
fair, Warner
allocated
Brothers has
people.
been on a decline for a long time, so that's not even something that you would like to brag about, honestly.
Yeah, it was like, and yeah, like the fact that, and the thing is, like he was responsible for like getting, he pretty much played a part in having Warner Brothers get the rights to Harry Potter and bringing the Matrix in. It's just like, how long ago? That's like over 20 years ago. Like that's not exactly gonna get you much clout there, because like Harry Potter is kind of like maybe like the new HBO stuff might bring it new life, or it'll just run it into the ground even more than it already has. And the Matrix like petered out and fucking died. Like, so that's like a dead franchise right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, how well did that turn out? Like, sure, the Matrix is a classic, and the Harry Potter movies, you know, like the original run, the previous run of movies, you know, was beloved, but it's like, what about afterwards? Like, how's it gone? How's it been doing lately?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just having your name on something, you can just use that, and a lot of people will be impressionable. Okay, so See, I had a friend. Okay, like this is a small scale version of this. Okay, so I had a friend. Like he was like a year above me in high school. So we talk, we like play that stuff, and we like once I was playing the piano, he was playing the guitar at a like festival thing
Yeah.
when we were like 15 or so. A couple of years later, he finishes high school, and I see him in the news. Okay, like I'm like he's on TV talking about how he made these two characters for League of Legends, Sai and Rakan,
Hmm.
and everyone is like, "Oh, look, this kid did the impossible. He was bullshitting them. He did it for fun. Like reporters nowadays don't make the bare minimum research. Do you think people will actually like give a shit? A lot of these producer like fucking white dudes in suits, because like people can say, oh no, no, that sounds like lefty and all of that. No, no, but they are always white dudes in suits. And why are they always white dudes in suits? Because of nepotism. They're all friends. They all went to
Yeah.
the same high school or the same university thing. They don't need to check whatever the fuck you did. You just need to they just need to owe you a favor or something. And
Yeah.
that's how you end up there. If you just put your greasy fucking disgusting homunculi hands on some projects, then you can just go up to them and then they will make you like a head of the company or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You just do that.
yeah, it's not about talent. All of those people are like talentless. They can still make good decisions. You should never just dismiss their opinions just because they're hacks. Because everyone is right at some point. And
Yeah.
again, Lorenzo himself made a decision that for a lot of people was good, which is having that scene at the beginning of Bumblebee. Again, it has no creative understanding of what the story is trying to do, but hey, like it did sell, right? So it's not about merit. It's all about who makes the most money, and for
Yeah.
that you can be a complete fucking loser.
Yeah. Exactly. That's pretty much. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and obviously you like it. Yeah, it's just and it's just a matter of like how many stupid decisions can you pretty much get away with before they eventually catch up with you. That's kind of like what it boils down to. Like
Yeah,
before, which is
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of what
exactly.
happened. Which is pretty much what happened. Like just like as far as like the Matrix and Harry Potter being run into the ground, that all that happened after Lorenzo like was stopped being a part of Warner Brothers altogether. So I won't blame those franchises getting run to the ground on him necessarily,
Yeah.
really. But yeah, it's like it's kind of funny. Like he's still like he pretty much falls into those tendencies of running a franchise into the ground when you look at what he did with Transformers. It's pretty
Hmm.
much
Yeah,
yeah,
and again, that's because even though these people are different people, they're all the same in the end. They're
yeah,
just talentless men, white dudes in suits.
yeah. They're
All
just
that's fact too.
they're all just kind of like built the same. Like even like if you notice, like even Kevin Feige, like for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like he's been in the game for a long time before the MCU was a thing. But the MCU became like the big thing that he was like attached to, where it's just like people often credit him for being like for like spearheading like what made the MCU what it is today. Well, what it was back in the day, but nowadays, nowadays, the tune is like there's still some people singing that same tune, but they're just getting less and they're becoming less and less frequent and less inclined, and more frequently you can hear people singing a little different, slightly different tune about the MCU today
Hmm.
in terms of like
Yeah,
yeah
the MCU should have ended with Infinity War and stuff like that.
yeah like I mean people kind of like say like it should have ended at Endgame pretty much because of like because that movie was kind of like meant to be like the end of like all these characters story like Iron Man Captain America, Thor, like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's just that when I said stuff like that, I meant that, but it's just I didn't remember the name.
yeah,
Honestly, I hate superhero stuff. I find it so boring, and I feel like I just been held captive for the last like 15 years of my life, having to actually force myself to adapt to the environment and actually watch those movies. Now that they're unpopular, I'm free, and I don't even remember the names.
yeah, that's fair.
But
Yeah,
Marvel Phase One was actually really nice.
no,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
going
mean,
to pretend that they're bad or anything.
yeah, it was like a pretty humble beginning. That's why I'm definitely looking forward to, like Mahler's like video on the first Avengers, essentially, because which is going to be like, which apparently now it might actually be his like first unbridled praise video since like 5 years ago, since 5 years when he did The Father. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be neat. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Like, anything else that we want to say about Lorenzo, or do we
I
just?
mean, what do you think happened when they wrote this about him? Because it very clearly shows that everything's his fault. What do you think his reaction was to this? Like rage? He's too stupid to even realize that this is a thing. Maybe he watched that. He was like, "Oh, that's so nice. You said my name a couple of times. Hell yes." Or was he like, like just not even related to the documentary, and he's so fucking he's somewhere playing golf, so he doesn't even know that it happened. Like,
I think I think either he doesn't like. I think he probably would have to have like known about it, considering like it's about considering like the episode was on that a franchise that helped that kind of that he kind of put him that kind of like helped that made him a successful producer
yeah,
for the time, or he just doesn't care. Like I think he probably just doesn't really care.
yeah. I also think he doesn't care. It's just that normally people like this, you know, I thought he was dumber than he seemed. But then, you hear how he like screamed at the director and all of this, and it's like he clearly cares about his image at least. Like he wants to be the one controlling stuff. So there is
Yeah,
actually a chance that he's like mad somewhere, like seething and coping
yeah,
because like people are calling him out on stuff. But his like dinosaur friends in suits, probably they will never watch the documentary, so he's fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Do,
probably
do, do, do you remember that thing where in the Oscars they said, okay, so now we will make sure that everyone watches the movies before voting? And that was like 2 years ago, and everyone was like, wait, you mean that wasn't a rule before? Like, those are the types of people we're dealing with that are
yeah,
like feeding us like trash and slop every fucking year after year. So,
yeah,
even if he like is annoyed at the documentary, he has nothing to worry about because those people don't even watch anything.
yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, like I know for a fact, like he probably would, maybe like some of that stuff does kind of get to him because I mean, like like with Kathleen Kennedy, like she gets like she's like talking with like people like Q&As and all that about the reception that she kind of has as a producer in terms of what she's done with Star Wars, and she just kind of like her answers just are just kind of like, so how did you even get this position? Like, are you actually like, or like, how are you just like, how do you pretty much have like that such a low mental capacity to even just say these to the point where you say these like give these like really bizarre answers to these questions that are very valid to where it just sounds like, so you don't care if your franchise is just like crashing and burning because you still feel like you made the right decision no matter what. Like
Yeah,
you don't have like you have like just nothing but either yes men or you're just like complete you just like you are delusional. Um so I'm kind of like
or
one
in her case, I would say just women. because like, and it's not even like, for context, I'm not someone that actually goes around with this like culture war bullshit, but there are some things that are just like straight up undeniable.
Right.
And like the men that she had were, she was just like controlling them, like the director J.J. Abrams. he
Yeah.
he was like spineless. Like, I would have never allowed for someone to do the sequel for my fucking movie in the trilogy that I'm supposed to be a part of, like the trilogy, as in three movies, and then I have to give the second one to someone else. Go fuck yourself. But so she was the one in control, quote unquote. She was the one that decided. Even if she decided to just give control to the director, that's still her decision. So she's still in control because she can just swap things one moment and say, well, actually, I decided that I want to do this. And like Jordan Peterson or whatever. What was the name of the second guy?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson, right? So Ryan Johnson just has to like suck up to it and deal with it, right?
no,
Like that's what you do as a producer. You control everything,
no, the thing is,
even when you.
Ryan Johnson, like Kathleen Kennedy was like totally cool, totally chill with Ryan Johnson and what he wanted to do with TLJ. So she just let him, like, she even wanted him to do like a trilogy, but then eventually, but obviously that been pretty quiet about that over the years.
Yeah,
Like, to where
yeah,
my
but that's what I mean, right? Like when they decide to like let you do something, even then they're still in control because they can just drop that, and also they were the first ones. They were the ones in the first place to decide that you even had the chance to, like control your story.
yeah,
But so those were her decisions. Him directing a bad movie is her fault in the end.
yeah,
So yeah, look, like he wasn't a yes man to her. She was a yes woman to him, and she had no capacity to control the guy, even though she literally had every single capacity to control the guy. Like, she's just inept.
yeah. You
Like, the
are the
ineptitude
leader
is
of
immense.
Lucasfilm. You're the leader of
Yeah.
this whole company that is supposed to be making Disney billions of dollars. Like, and you took this franchise that was like a guaranteed, like basically almost like a license to print money, and you fucked it up. Like, how did you, like, that? It's fast. That is just insane.
You know what? I'm just going to say this, and I think that this actually applies for like 90% of the fucking population. I think I could do a better job. I
Yeah,
could like tomorrow make a Star Wars movie that makes money.
yeah,
Tomorrow, I could just fucking improvise it out of my ass. It's
yeah.
super easy. It's literally an entire universe full of potential, and these fucking clowns can only do like Mandalorian and Roku.
Yeah, that's the best that you could. Yeah, and that's the best you could do. Which, who even know? Which, at this point, I have serious doubts that would just be like, it will be anything worthwhile at all. Like,
Yeah, I'm not going to watch anything Star Wars unless it's like actually Andor. I'm going to watch Andor because I know that that's actually finished. Like, it's completely over and it was good from beginning to end. Everyone told me that, and it's also related to the only good thing that came from Disney, which is Rogue One, right?
yeah, yeah, and
So
yeah, and
yeah,
Andor is great. Yeah, you need to, go check. Yeah, go and finish that. It is worth it. It's the only, like, it and Rogue One are the only things that have held up. Like, people look back on pretty fondly from the Disney Star Wars stuff at this point.
and I think that also Clone Wars, if I'm not misremembering, came up with like some sequel stuff, from the Cartoon Network era. I think that they got some couple of new seasons that were made lately. I think, if I'm not
Hmm.
misremembering, that's the case.
I know they
And
finished
if
the
not,
Clone Wars show with like season
mhm,
7. I know that season
with season
7.
7,
That was
yeah.
like meant to be like the final season, pretty much, for that show. I mean, I don't really care for anything from Filoni either. Essentially, and to be honest, from what I've based on some bits that I've seen or heard, I don't really view him that highly as a creative.
Yeah, no, so here's the thing. I only will watch the Clone Wars stuff for nostalgia, but the Clone Wars just ruined General Grievous. It
Okay,
has some
yeah.
cool things. Yeah, but no, but Grievous deserves more, dude. He's such a cool fucking concept. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why
But
that's
it
why I just stick with
deserves.
that's why I stick with Tartakovsky's Clone Wars because great, one of the things was Grievous was fucking awesome in that. It was my introduction to. I mean, I'm sure it was many others' introduction, but it was at least my introduction to Grievous, and it was sold, and I was sold.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they just turned him into a coughing machine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's supposed to be kind of consistent with how he was in Revenge of the Sith. They had him in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, they had it to where his chest kind of got fucked up by Mace Windu while he was still kidnapping Palpatine, and that would just sort of explain the cough that he has in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah, I know. But basically, besides that, he's just aura farming for 2 seconds and then he dies immediately. Dies in the most pathetic way.
Well, he don't. Well, he doesn't. Well, he pretty much doesn't. He doesn't die immediately in Revenge of the Sith. He pretty much dies he goes for an hour. He doesn't die until an hour or so into the movie. So that's pretty well into in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh no, but what I mean is, as soon as Obi-Wan gets there, what is it, 7 minutes, and then he's already dead. There's a little chase, a fight, and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, a lightsaber fight, a brief lightsaber fight, which I mean, in retrospect, it's pretty underwhelming. It's you got 4 lightsabers, you're a cyborg. You should be doing way more than this. You should be a little more competent than what we're getting here. And also, the fact that Obi-Wan could just beat him easily with a force push is just why didn't you just do that from the get-go? That's a good.
Yeah, you would think that he has some counter to the Force or something, but no, he just has 4 lightsabers. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
Star Wars is such a waste of potential, all of Star Wars.
To address this comment, then I'm aware that George Lucas, nerfed him for the movie. I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm not pretending that I'm not gonna say that everything that George Lucas did was great either. Okay, but
Although I would say that, if we want to be fair, also it could be that Tartakovsky just made him too OP, and that was never consistent with what Lucas had in mind. Maybe, but we will have to do some research on that. To know who fucked up.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, I guess there isn't really anything else to say about Di Bonaventura then, I suppose.
Oh yeah, not much else. Yeah,
anything.
now we're just shitting on different producers.
Yeah, now we're just shitting on different people now. But yeah, I guess we'll pretty much kind of close this stream out then. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Lau, and thank you, Hoshi, in retrospect, for coming on, as always. And basically, final word about it. Yeah, Lorenzo kind of sucks. Just the reason why I made the meme out of him as Lorenzo Kron. He fucked up the Transformers franchise. Well, he especially fucked up Rise of the Beast. I know for a fact, and which in turn fucked up Transformers 1. But
What
I
a
mean, he's
fucking
definitely done more
little.
damage beyond that.
I cannot even call him Clown Boy because he was always old. He's in a constant state of old ass aging.
He's like Benjamin Button, except he never got to the point where he looked like handsome Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he just always looks kind of fat and old and stupid. That's all he does.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll finally just sort of like close out. Like any recommendations or shills or anything you want to give?
Um, Not really. I haven't seen much in cinemas. Well, actually, there is a movie called
Ooh,
Hokum, maybe like depending on how you pronounce it. It's a horror movie, and I heard some good things about it. I want to watch it. So if anyone is interested in, some horror after the disappointment that the Mummy was, I heard that there's a good movie this year apparently.
yeah.
Hokum or
Hmm.
or Hokum again. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I've been
yeah,
hearing stuff about that. Yeah,
yeah.
should check that out at some point. Um, yeah, as far as me, this has been your host, the Sea Monster. Obviously, I do some videos and I do some live streams. I'll be sure to signpost to you folks when the next live stream will be or what it will be. Um, I typically schedule these streams on weekends, but unfortunately, like I've just been scheduled to work weekends for some reason. So it's kind of what, but hopefully that may not be as much of the case, in the coming days. But because I know like some people that most people wouldn't be available on in the middle of the week. So there was that. As far as like a project, my Darkened Moon essay video is, like the scripting is pretty much done. I'm in the middle of recording right now, and hopefully that will, and I should be able to get done with the recording stuff because I'm doing it like in sessions. I did some recording like yesterday, did some earlier today. Hopefully I'll try to get it done later today. If not, then like tomorrow, and then editing and all that. It's gonna be it's a big one. I'm not even exaggerating. It's a big one. Um, and like I know Rebecca will still be pretty big even when I cut out like either like the mistakes or what have you or anything like that. But yeah, stay tuned for updates on that. And yeah, follow me here, follow me on Twitter, follow me, and I also have like a little bit of an Instagram as well, so there's that. But as far as recommendations, I'm trying to think. What I've done here. I actually snagged actually like that Kiryu figure from like Bandai's like action figure lineup. Like I think it's called Godzilla Rampage. It's like it was like a $20 figure, but it's like Kiryu from Tokyo SOS. So he's got like an interchangeable like hand with the drill and all that. As well as like the stuff, the other accessories. Pretty cool figure. I dig him. I'm looking at him right now. Looking nice.
Is that the little one from Bandai?
Yeah,
That new line that I have? Okay, okay.
yeah, it's the new one. Yeah, he's like more articulated, essentially.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not movie monster series. It's it's like the action figure line.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
look,
yeah. I know it. I've seen. It's funny. Like I haven't seen much Godzilla stuff here in this country since I came back, but
hmm,
that's one of the few things that I saw. I saw -1 from that line.
yeah. I would even say like there was like an initial release of Kiryu from the line, like when the line started, where he had like the beam effect, but he didn't really look as good as this one. So yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I guess that's a recommendation there at least, because I can't really think of anything movie or TV wise off the top of my head, aside from Michael, the Michael Jackson movie that came out. um, but
Oh, actually, there's one last thing I wanted to say because
go on.
like we always talk about movies and shows and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
there's this book called The Fisherman. I don't know if I've said it before, but I'll just say it again. So there's a book that won the Bram Stoker Awards. Like the awards that are given in honor of Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula. So
Yeah.
this guy wrote something that's a little bit Lovecraftian, but not all the way, about this guy who goes fishing after someone dies, and he starts finding, let's just say, a river that shouldn't be there. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, if anyone wants to go read something, like that's the one you should try. I think it was really nice.
Nice. All right. Sounds good. But yeah, once again, thank you all for listening. We'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.